My husband said, "Stop acting like you own me. You don't get to tell me where I go or who I'm with." Everyone laughed. I just smiled and said, "You're right, we're not together anymore." My name is Maye Patel, and I'm 39. When he came home that night, his key didn't work. The locks had been changed. The neighbor told him something he would never forget. They had laughed for 17 seconds. I had counted every single one while standing frozen in my burgundy dress, a champagne flute trembling in my hand, as Ethan's words hung in the decorated conference room like a banner of my humiliation. "Stop acting like you own me, Maye. You don't get to tell me where I go or who I'm with." 20 of his colleagues had witnessed him publicly dismantling our marriage, their amused faces blurring through the tears I refused to let fall. At 5:45 a.m. the next morning, I stood in our 19th floor apartment making his coffee with the mechanical precision of someone planning a careful demolition. The locksmith's business card was already tucked in my pocket. My phone showed 3 missed calls from the divorce attorney I had contacted from the parking lot. While those 17 seconds of laughter still echoed in my ears, the coffee maker gurgled its familiar morning song, and Ethan slept undisturbed in our bedroom, blissfully unaware that his theatrical performance had triggered something irreversible. 2 sugars, no cream. I had made this exact combination 5,110 times over 14 years. This would be the last. My hands moved through the routine while my mind replayed every detail from the party. The way Brad had clinked his whiskey glass against Ethan's after the declaration, like they'd rehearsed this humiliation. The way Olivia from accounting had tried so hard not to look directly at him, her pink nails drumming against her clutch. The way the room had smelled of cinnamon and expensive cologne as my world cracked down the middle. The Minneapolis skyline stretched beyond our floor-to-ceiling windows, buildings piercing through morning fog like accusatory fingers. This apartment had been my father's final gift to me, his inheritance transformed into what Ethan called our investment. Despite never contributing a penny toward the down payment or monthly maintenance fees, my consulting business, which I had built from nothing while supporting Ethan through his MBA, paid for our life here. Yet somehow, over the years, the narrative had shifted. Ethan spoke of his apartment, his view, his success story of climbing from junior analyst to senior executive. My name might have been on the deed, but possession, I had learned, was more about perception than paperwork. I heard him stirring in the bedroom, the expensive sheets rustling, Egyptian cotton, 1,500 thread count, bought with my year-end bonus, while he complained about my excessive spending. The irony wasn't lost on me anymore. Nothing was lost on me after last night's clarity. "Maye," his voice carried that particular morning roughness that had once made my stomach flutter. Now it just sounded like gravel. "Coffee ready on the counter." I called back, my voice steady, like a morning news anchor delivering tragedy. I listened to his footsteps padding across the hardwood floors we'd argued about. He had wanted marble. I wanted warmth. We'd compromised on hardwood, which meant I'd paid for what neither of us truly wanted. He emerged from the bedroom in his Princeton boxer shorts and nothing else, shoulder muscles rolling as he stretched. Ethan maintained his body with the dedication of someone who believed physical perfection could compensate for character deficiencies. At 41, he still looked like the man I had married at 27, except now I could see past the surface to the hollow architecture beneath. "What time did you get home last night?" His question was casual, his gaze already on his phone. The lie came easily. I had spent 2 hours in the parking garage making phone calls and crying off carefully applied makeup. Then I had sat in our building's lobby until 2:00 a.m., having a conversation with Harold the doorman that changed everything I thought I knew about Tuesday afternoons. Ethan grunted in acknowledgement. "Brad, sending over the investment paperwork today. Need your signature by 5. Brad's startup, a cryptocurrency venture that sounded like money laundering dressed in tech vocabulary. They wanted my father's inheritance, $400,000, representing 30 years of my father's work as a construction foreman. His callous hands and broken back transformed into my financial security. Ethan had been mentioning it for weeks, each time more insistent, less asking than informing. I want to see the business plan first, I said. Same as yesterday, same as last week, he replied. His blue eyes narrowed in that familiar mix of condescension and irritation. We've been over this, Maya. Brad went to Wharton. He knows what he's doing. So did the executives at Enron. Ethan's jaw tightened. He set down his mug with deliberate control, the sound sharp against granite. Why do you always have to make things difficult? This is why I said what I said last night. You try to control everything. There it was, the bridge between last night's public humiliation and this morning's gaslighting. Humiliate, then blame me for the humiliation. Demand, then accuse me of being demanding. Take, then paint me as selfish for noticing. You're right, I said, smooth as the silk blouse I had worn to my execution. I shouldn't try to control things like my own inheritance or my own life. He missed the edge in my voice, already confident in his victory. Exactly. When you're reasonable, everything works better. He walked over and pressed a kiss to my forehead that felt like a stamp of ownership. Wear that burgundy dress again tonight. There's another party at the Marriott client thing. My stomach turned, the same dress as last night. It looked good on you. Powerful, he said with a smirk, remembering a compliment I had foolishly shared. Besides, these clients weren't at yesterday's party. No one will know it's the same dress. Except I would know. I would be wearing my humiliation like a uniform, a walking reminder of 17 seconds of laughter. That's when I understood he wanted me to wear it, to mark me, to brand me, while he played devoted husband tonight. I'll think about it, I said, voice neutral as Switzerland. He was already walking back to the bedroom. Don't overthink it, Maya. It's just a dress. But it wasn't just a dress. It was everything. Every small surrender, every swallowed objection, every time I had made myself smaller so he could feel bigger. My phone buzzed. Alexandra, the divorce attorney, texting. Room in my schedule at noon if you're ready to proceed. I looked at the locksmith's card on the counter, then at Ethan's coffee mug with his lip prints on the rim. Finally. At sunrise, painting our apartment gold, everything looked different. Temporary, changeable, like a stage set waiting to be struck. I know exactly what I'm wearing tonight. I called toward the bedroom loud enough for him to hear over the shower. What he didn't know was that I would be wearing it in my apartment, with my locks, living my life. The 17 seconds of laughter had stopped echoing. What remained was the sound of my own heartbeat, steady and certain, counting down to freedom. By the time I reached the Marriott ballroom that evening, Ethan's hand pressed against my lower back, spreading across the burgundy fabric as if marking territory. But now, the pressure felt different, not protective, but possessive, like a grip on a briefcase full of money. The room sparkled with holiday decorations, gold garlands, crystal centerpieces, and enough twinkling lights to power a small neighborhood. The smell of expensive perfume mixed with bourbon and that metallic scent of corporate ambition. Remember, Ethan murmured against my ear, breath hot with whiskey, these are important clients. Try to be pleasant. Pleasant, the word stuck in my throat like swallowed glass. After last night, after 17 seconds of laughter, pleasant felt impossible. Then I saw her, Olivia from accounting, standing near the bar in a burgundy dress so similar to mine it couldn't be coincidence. The neckline plunged lower, the hem rose higher, but the color was identical. Her blonde hair cascaded down her back like a waterfall of betrayal. Melissa, Brad's wife, appeared at my elbow with 2 champagne flutes. Maya, you look lovely, she said, struggling not to stare at Olivia. Interesting color choice tonight, I said, voice steady as I watched Ethan notice Olivia. His hand fell from my back like I had suddenly become radioactive. His pupils dilated, jaw slackened, and for 3 seconds he forgot I existed. In those 3 seconds, I saw our entire marriage. Every late meeting, every hidden text, every Tuesday afternoon. Olivia lifted her chin slightly, a silent declaration of war disguised as confidence. I faced Ethan. We should discuss the business plan first. I haven't seen any documentation. No revenue projections, no market analysis, nothing but promises and Wharton credentials. Ethan's face darkened. Maya, we've discussed this. No, you've talked, I've listened. There's a difference. I took a sip of champagne. It's $400,000, Ethan. My father's, our money. He erupted.